in last class.
Okay, Dia was present, na? Who was present last class? Rajit Prabhuji was present. Yes, who
Harish,
was present? Rajit Prabhu.
339 we need to discuss, Bhagat. 3.39.
3.39.
Yep.
Yeah. So this is the most important verse. That is 38th verse. Last time what we did was very important. Today 39th verse. Let us take from 36th verse because then only the connection will be seen. Arjuna is asking the next question. Which is that enemy? Which is that enemy which is impelling a person to perform sinful activities? What is that thing which is impelling a person? Now, cigarette is injurious for health. It is given. But still, after seeing that also, how come a person is still drinking? What is the thing which is impelling a person to do sinful activity? Then Krishna clearly says in the 37th verse, it is kama. Kama yesha krodesha rajoguna samudbhava. Mahashano mahapapma vidyanam yavairinam. This is the vairi. This lust is the vairi. So now, the person's consciousness is dependent on the degree of lust. How much the, the covering is there. Accordingly, the person is categorized or the living entity gets a type of body. So if the lust is is it can be handled. That means you just have to handle it with care. Then the pure consciousness can be aroused. That is a human being, the body of a human being. He gets in the human being the because the covering is less, so the consciousness level is high. The feel of pain and pleasure is there. The consciousness level is high. We are not talking about now about anything about spirituality. Understand it nicely. We're not talking about spirituality. When you say consciousness, the feel of pain and the pleasure, that is a basic consciousness which a person has. You insult a person, yes, he feels very bad. You praise a person, he feels very happy. That means that consciousness level is highest in a human. And why it is highest in a human? Because the covering of the lust is not more. It is not more. That is why the consciousness level is little higher. It is highest. Little care is required. If you handle it with care, then you can uh, ignite that spark of Krishna consciousness. You can ignite the spark of Krishna consciousness. Understand it nicely. When I'm saying igniting the spark of Krishna consciousness means more of association now. At least the basic level, his consciousness is high. Yes, he feels the pain, the pleasure, the insults, the praises, the happiness, the distress. All the dualities can be experienced at the level of a human. Right? Now the example is given is Dhumena Bhriyate Varne. That means the fire can be understood just by seeing a smoke. You don't have to say there is a fire inside. It is understood. If you see a human, it is understood that he can feel that pain and pleasure. He can react to the situations. At least that much understanding is there that he will react to the situations. Okay, now animals. Animals are compared to yatha darsho malenacha. It is like the mirror. If it is covered with the dust, you have to wipe it to look at the mirror. But you have to put efforts of wiping. You have to put efforts. By seeing the dust, you cannot understand there is a mirror inside. It can be a cupboard also. It can be lakadi ka something. There is a mirror inside can be understood only by doing some hard work. You understanding? By doing some hard work, there is a mirror inside. Now see, by just seeing a smoke, you know there is a fire. By seeing the dust, you don't know there is a mirror. So practically you have to work hard. In the same way, for the animal body, the consciousness is there or not, whether they feel happy or not, it takes time. Like the people have pets in the house. And they have pets we have only got dog and the cat. What more? Maximum one tortoise they can keep. Lion they will keep or what? Tigers they keep, elephants, maximum elephants also they can tame an elephant. But they like a crocodile is there. We'll keep crocodile in the house. Whether they have pain and pleasure, whether they react to your emotions, not very. It's not so easy to understand. You may take care. Oh,
नहीं तो
Jayashree,
मैम टोन
you're not
मतलब told
supposed to
you
talk, Jayashree. When
अब
I
क्या है
ask you to unmute, that time you don't unmute. Ah. So now it so happens when you have to do hard work to understand. And now what about the plants? You tell the plant you're very beautiful. Does it react? You cut the branch of the tree. Does it react? Why? Because the lust, degree of lust is the highest. For the animal, the degree of lust, the degree means the covering of the lust is thicker. Thicker, thickest. Thick is for the human, thicker is for the animals, and thickest is for the plants. 39. That is why it is said, if a human behaves like a tree, likes to walk nude, go nude, so then what happens? He is going to become a tree. Who knows? Gandhiji. Today I saw a horrible video. I came to know why Srila Prabhupada is to call Gandhiji Duratma. To just he had an absurd brain. He wanted to test his brahmacharyata. He is already married. He has children. After his wife died, he was completely involved in this freedom fighting. And he was always supportive of his Muslims. Somehow people came to know this. And then now he's saying that why I'm not able to bring harmonized people. So what he did was he wanted to test his celibacy. Now just say at the age of 75. So to test his celibacy, what he did was his sister's daughter, his grandson's wife, like that, all close people, and some of his doctor and all those things. He used to lie nude. He used to tell them to sleep nude beside him, and he is able to protect his celibacy or not. Just see, is it not something? Uh, that is why Srila Prabhupada used to call him Duratma. I saw that video. I was first time I came to know. Then I came to know that many know. I only came to know last. Many know this. I don't know how many of you know that. That is why he got shot because he was only for these Muslims. Today the partition became only because of this Gandhiji. He should not be called as Mahatma at all. He was doing all absurd. Though he was not doing sex, but just imagine lying nude. Beside there is a nude lady, and that too 17 years girls, 15-year girls. And those ladies, they considered him as God. They used to fight within themselves that they should be cared more because they were helpless. They were in his ashram. Though they are giving nice reports that we were not sexually nothing, but just see, is it not a bad thing? Is a worst thing which nobody will even think about it. So this all happens. Now let us see 39th verse. Avrutam jnanametena jnanino nityavairinam kamarupena kaunteya dushpurena nalena cha. So this is the most important verse. Generally we say, अरे इच्छा है कर लो इच्छा को दबा के नहीं रखने का. You like grapes na, eat 10 kilo grapes. You like ice creams na, you take 10 ice creams and eat at a time. Afterwards, you should not have any ichha. Doesn't work. This is the answer for it. Avrutam jnanam etena jnaninaha nityavairina. A jnani knows this nityavairi, that is this lust, is always covering his intelligence. Kama rupena. This is the lust which is covering his intelligence. Oh, Kaunte, dushpurena nalechacha. Never try to fulfill his desire. Generally, a person who's hanged to death, they are asked, what is your last ichha? There is no last. There's nothing last ichha. It is the fire. You add, it will grow more. It is like ghee. The more you try to fulfill your desire, it will burn more. It is not going to be satisfied. This is the first important teaching. No desires are satisfied. Even in your childhood, we used to ask some balloons. The moment we got balloon, Mama, Mama, I'm not going to ask anything more. This is the last. Okay, wonderful. After that, again. It is not going, the more you try to fulfill the desires of the children also, don't think that they are not going to ask. They will ask. I had one friend. She used to say, my mother buys 20 kilos of mangoes and gives. After that, not to ask. Doesn't work. This is like a fire. Simple. It is like a fire. The more you put ghee, the more it glows. It works. It burns more, and it glows more also. Okay. Desires are never satisfied. Tonal read.
Hare Krishna Mataji Danvat Pranam. Text number 39. Avritam jnanametena jnanino nityavairina kamarupena kaunteya dushpurena lalena cha. Translations and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Sharanaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thus, the wise living entity's pure consciousness becomes covered by his eternal enemy in the form of lust, which is never satisfied and which burns like fire. Purport. It is said in the Manusmriti that lust cannot be satisfied by any amount of sense enjoyment, just as fire is never extinguished by a constant supply of fuel. In the material world, the center of all activities is sex, and thus this material world is called Maithunya Agar, or the shackles of sex life. In the ordinary prison house, criminals are kept within bars. Similarly, the criminals who are disobedient to the laws of the Lord are shackled by the sex life. Advancement of material civilization on the basis of sense gratification means increasing the duration of the material existence of a living entity. Therefore, this lust is a symbol of ignorance, by which the living entity is kept within the material world. While one enjoys sense gratification, it may be that there is some feeling of happiness, but actually, that so called feeling of happiness is the ultimate enemy of the sense enjoyer. Thank you, Hari Krishna.
Next verse. Indriyani manobuddhi अस्यादिष्टानमुच्यते एतैर्विमोहयत्येषन् ज्ञानमावृत्य देहिनम्. Now, where does this lust sit? Because it's a nitya vairi, na? If you compare the body to be the fort, where is this enemy in this fort? Okay, it is in three places. Where? At the level of senses, at the level of mind, at the level of intelligence. Oh, in this places they sit. And in this way, through the lust, our intelligence, our knowledge is covered. And in this way, the living entity is bewildered. Now, at the level of senses, can be handled out of sight, out of mind. I want to eat pani puri, pani puri. Okay, yay, your health is not good. But then when I see pani puri, I want to eat. The moment the pani puri is not there, out of sight, out of mind. But then if the pani puri is just jumping at the level of mind, then what happens all the time? I'm only thinking about pani puri. So what is happening is I don't want to think about anyone. I just fight at home because you did not buy pani puri for me. So what happened? Just the basic relationship is also lost because of our just mind is only thinking about pani. Now what happened at the level of intelligence now? If the mind is also not controlled, it creeps at the level of intelligence. Now intelligence is completely contaminated. So doesn't know what to do, what not to do. Discriminating factor is also lost. So because of the discriminating factor is lost, what happens? He just broke all the relationship just for one pani puri. You see, the fights in the house starts with all small things. If it is in the level of senses, fine. It goes in the level of mind, still there is a chance to handle it. You can distract your mind from one object to another object. But if it creeps at the level of intelligence, no, no hope at all. I recently got one case. I have many case studies. Many people come and discuss with me. One case study was, what is a case study? One. At the one of the case study I got. When Mataji told me, Mataji, I'm going to get divorced. I said, why? A young girl, chota bacha. I want to get divorced. So why? Because my friends told that your husband is always working. He's not taking you out. I said, you should have common sense, huh? He's working for you. Person is very wonderful, very nice, very calm. And he met me also. Very nice. Both the families, they used to come together for the classes. Suddenly I saw they are disappearing, they're not coming. I just asked this lady, why nowadays you're not seen? No, Mataji, I just want to leave him. I said, why? My friends told that they are enjoying with their husbands. I said, will you compare one husband to another husband? He is working hard to keep you all happy. Can't you understand this much? Now just see, it creeped in her intelligence to such an extent that now she's suffering alone with the child. This is what happens. At the level of senses, we should know what to hear, what not to hear. If we hear something and then take it in the level of mind, the mind thinks a lot. At that time also there is a scope. There is a scope. If it goes at the level of an intelligence, no scope, because discriminating factor itself has gone away. Then you cannot do anything. It can be, see, there are five senses, right? At these five senses, anything can happen. Sometimes by hearing, sometimes by touch, sometimes by sight, sometimes by taste, sometimes by smell. Anything can creep our intelligence. Oh, this fragrance, pakka he must be with some woman. We don't know. Because they come in the maybe some, any doubt, if it enters our consciousness, we cannot do anything. This is the very, very important. The basic, our all relationship depends upon these now five senses. Anybody's relationship. It can be father-mother relationship. It can be child-mother relationship. Everything. Our whole relationship, society relationship, neighbor relationship. Everything depends on these five senses. Our whole life also depends on these five senses. And why? There is a lust which is covering this. And if we try to encourage the lust at the level of senses, then bodily problems can come. If we try to encourage the lust at the level of mind, mental problems will come. That is why some people, they become cranky, they become frustrated, always frustrated mood. And why? Mad people. They don't know what to behave, how to behave. Just now I told about like this cases come. And then if it creeps at the level of intelligence, then no hope of living also. So we have to understand where is our karma or where is our vairi situated. At what level is my enemy situated? That is most important. What level is my enemy? Everybody has one or the enemy. If it is at the level of senses, no problem. That is what Prabhupada says. We cannot throw away the karma. There is no dustbin. Desires, for the desires, there is no dustbin. We can spiritualize the desire. Oh, I want to take some nice laddus, offer to Krishna and eat. No problem. You spiritualize your desire. At the level of mind, I have frustration. Read Bhagavad Gita, read Bhagavatam, hear to the classes, do some kirtan. Then what happened? The mind becomes fresh. That frustrated mind is now that there is a solution for it. At the level of intelligence, the only solution is take shelter of the spiritual master. Because there is there is no other discriminating factor to train intelligence. Thrashing is required that time. That time, a person thrashing is required. Thrashing, caring, everything is required. Only at the level of which level this is? It's a level of intelligence. The senses, mind, intelligence are to take places of this lust. Through them, lust covers the real knowledge of the real, of the living entity and bewilders. So three people are known as donkeys. This is given here. यस्यात्म बुद्धि कुणपेत धातुके स्वधि कलत्रादिषु भौम इच्छति यतीर्थ बुद्धि सलिलेन कर्हिचेत जानेषु विकेषु सेव गोखरः. Three people are categorized as donkeys. Or cow. Cow goes on eating, which doesn't know what it is eating once. Go means cow, khara means donkey. Go means completely dependent on someone. What to do? On its own, it cannot take any intelligence. Nothing. No intelligence is also not there. What it is eating, anything. We have to take care of the cows. In fact, cow is taking care of us, but technically we have to take care of the field and all those things. Khara donkey does all the laborious activities. So here, whoever considers Syasma Buddhi Kulepetida, whoever considers the body to be everything, he's a donkey, number one donkey. And then Swadhi Karatradishud Bhauma Ijjati. He considers his birthplace as the worship, as a place of worship. Bhauma Ijjati. And then when he goes to Tirtha, he goes and takes bath and all, but not interested in meeting or hearing about the Katha. And what is the use? Goinda, Gema. He doesn't know anything about Goinda. Just to darshan, went the Vithala, came out. Doesn't know anything about Kundalik. There also doesn't know about Talwar. What is the use? So if you go to a Tirtha, we have to hear. If you don't hear, then it is like a donkey's work. That is what is expressed here. So why this verse is put here? Why this verse is put? Everybody has a desire. They have a desire at which level first now? Yasatma buddhi kula peti dhatu, at the level of the body. Considering body to be everything. This is senses. Next, Swadhi Kalatradishu Bhauma Ijjati, mental case. What is that mental case? Oh, where I am born, that is only the best place. Like this, like Porabandar used to be considered as a place of worship. Was Gandhiji's ashram was there, Porabandar. So this is at the mental level. Swadhi Kalatradishu Bhauma Ijjati, he is mental level. Whatever I do, that only is a worshipable thing. It is at the mental level. And at the level of intelligence, doesn't want to grow his intelligence. Going to Tirthas, just asking something and coming back. So intellectual level is also lost. Doesn't want to grow his intelligence. So three levels are given here. That is why the three levels, they don't work. They are actually donkeys. Like people go do hard work. From morning to evening, they go and work. Today I was talking to someone. So much of hard work. Why? So much of hard work we are doing and we are not able to eat properly. What is the use? Best is have some thela and put some vada pav. In Mumbai and all, everything works. He will earn at least something and come back. So much of hard work, why? That means at the level of body, we are doing Gadagiri kam. I was speaking to Chhatrapati Prabhu only. That is why he has opened his video to show. So then Gadagiri kam is not. At least that can be handled. This can be handled. The moment you, because now he's thinking of retiring. I said, very good. That can be handled. But what about the mental case? considering everything, oh, everything is my worshipable thing. That is mental case. Intellectual case, no. Okay. Okay. Who will read? Dia, you read?
Hare Krishna. Indriyani mano buddhir asya dhisthananuchyate eter vimohatyaitya esha jnanam avartya dehinam. The senses, the mind, and the intelligence are sitting places of this lust. Through them, lust covers the real knowledge of the living entity and bewilders him. Purport: the enemy has captured different strategic positions in the body of the conditioned soul, and therefore Lord Krishna is giving hint to those places so that one who wants to conquer the enemy may know where he can be found. Mind is the center of all the activities of the senses, and thus when we hear about sense objects, the mind generally becomes a reservoir of all ideas of sense gratification. And as a result, the mind and the senses become the repositories of lust. Next, the intelligence department becomes the capital of such lustful propensities. Intelligence is the immediate next door neighbor of the spirit soul. Lusty intelligence influences the spirit soul to acquire the false ego and identify itself with matter, and thus with the mind and senses. The spirit soul becomes addicted to enjoying the material senses and mistakes this as true happiness. This false identification of spirit soul is very nicely explained in Srimad Bhagavatam 10.84.13. Yasyatma buddhi kanupetri dhatuke swadhikalatradishu bhaumo ijya diha. Yat tirtha buddhi salilena karhichit janeshwa abhigneshu sa eva go karaha. A human being who identifies this body made of three elements with his self, who considers the byproduct of the body to be his kinsman, who considers the land of birth worshipable, and who goes to the place of pilgrimage simply to take a bath rather than meet men of transcendental knowledge, there is to be considered like an ass or a cow. Hare Krishna.
This is considered to be a ass or a cow. This verse, why it is put this verse? First level, Yasyatma buddhi kulape vidhatke. This verse is at the level of senses, because considering body to be everything. And then Swadi Kalakradishu Bhumaijatihi at a mental level, that is the lust at the level of mind, where you consider the birthplace or maybe your family to be everything. We are all worshipable people, we are all like God, something like that, like foolishness. And then Yatirtha Buddhi Salidena Karichet, you go to Tirth Yatras, you are not interested in hearing about Krishna. That means at the level of intelligence also, there is only lust. Now, people go to Tirth Yatras, what they do, they just set darshan, after that they enjoy. That means even the intelligence is not functioning there. There also the lust, degree of lust is so much. At least a person can understand in clubs and pubs, he goes and drinks. But people go to Tirth Yatras also and drink there. After taking darshan, they go and drink. Then what? Adi Devi Shakti will do? Uttarakhand. What is that Uttarakhand happens? That is why these all things are happening. That means even when you go to the Tirth Yatras, you don't want to learn anything. At the level of intelligence, you don't want to grow. So all these three levels we have to check. If we don't check these three levels, we are donkeys. Go kharaha. Why go has to cow are dependent on, he doesn't know what it is eating. You give some plastic, it will eat plastic also. Next, 41st. तस्मात् त्वम् इन्द्रियाण्याद्यौ नियम्यः भरतर्षभ पाप्मानं प्रजयेनं ज्ञानविज्ञाननाशनम्. Tasmat, so Krishna says, Tasmat, therefore, Tvam, you, Indriyani, Adav, Iniyamyaha. That is why first regulate the senses. See, intelligence comes afterwards. First senses, at the level of senses, at the level of mind, at the level of intelligence is later. At the level of intelligence itself, we have to curb our desires. Not that whatever we want, we should take. Generally, children ask many things. That doesn't mean that whatever they ask, we have to give. That is a time counseling is very important. That is a time we have to divert their attention if we don't want to give them. It doesn't work all the time. We have to beat them. No, we have to divert their mind, counsel them. If they don't listen, then yes, we have to show some hard words, or sometimes beating is also required. So then it is said here, Tasma, therefore at the level of senses itself, regulate Papmanam, this sin which is sitting at the level of senses. Curb it in the initial stage itself. Jnanam Vijnanam Nashanam. Because this lust will remove our jnana, will remove our vijnana also. That means it will remove our knowledge, and application of knowledge is later. Knowledge is only not there, then there is application of knowledge. So jnana, vijnana, both is lost because this sin, this lust is a sin. Kirajit Prabhu, read.
Krishna Mother. Tasmat Indriyanyadu Diyanya Bhardarshava Apmanam Prajatihyenam Jnana Vijnana Nashanam. Therefore, O Arjuna, best of the Bharadas, in the very beginning curb this great symbol of sin, lust, by regulating the senses, and slay this destroyer of knowledge and self-realization. Purport. The Lord advised Arjuna to regulate the senses from the very beginning of so that he could curb the greatest sinful enemy, lust, which destroys the urge for self-realization and specific knowledge of the self. Jnana refers to knowledge of self as distinguished from oneself, or in other words, knowledge that the spirit soul is not the body. Vijnana refers to specific knowledge of the spirit soul's constitutional position and his relationship to the Supreme Soul. Is explained thus in the Srimad Bhagavatam 2.9.31. Jnanam parama guhyam me yad vijnana samanvitam sa rahasyam tad angam cha grana gaditam maya. The knowledge of the self and supreme self is very confidential and mysterious, but such knowledge and specific realization can be understood if explained with their various aspects by the Lord himself. Bhagavad Gita gives us that general and specific knowledge of the self. The living entities are parts and parcels of the Lord, and therefore they are simply meant to serve the Lord. This consciousness is called Krishna consciousness. So from the very beginning of life, one has to learn this Krishna consciousness, and thereby one may become fully Krishna conscious and act accordingly. Lust is only the perverted reflection of the love of God, which is natural for every living entity. But if one is educated in Krishna consciousness from the very beginning, that natural love of God cannot deteriorate into lust. When love of God deteriorates into lust, it is very difficult to return to the normal condition. Nonetheless, Krishna consciousness is so powerful that even a late beginner can become a lover of God by following the regulative principles of devotional service. So from the stage of life or from the time of understanding its urgency, one can begin regulating the sense in Krishna consciousness, devotional service of the Lord, and turn the lust into love of Godhead, the highest perfectional stage of human life. Hare Krishna.
So the easiest way, Prabhupada says, just train our mind in Krishna consciousness. The mind is in Krishna consciousness, automatically the senses are employed for serving Krishna. But if we don't want to train our mind only, because it is all at the level of mind. The mind first senses. So then start serving Krishna. Automatically the mind is in Krishna, and then the intelligence is focused at this understanding, discriminating the nature of this material world, the nature of the spiritual world. Why does intelligence come? Because we have trained the senses first at the level of senses. Everybody said, go to temple, serve there, and then serve at house also. Wake up early in the morning, chant the holy name. So senses are developed. Senses are developed, mind is developed. Mind is developed, intelligence is now fixed up. 42. Indriyani paranyahur indriyebhya param manah manasastu para buddhi yo buddhe paratastu saha. Indriyani paranyahur indriyebhya param manah. The working senses, they are naturally superior to dull matter. At least the senses are working, na? That is good. But then mind is higher than the senses also. Manasastu para buddhir. And in this way, intelligence is higher than the mind. And then he, that means the soul, is even higher than the intelligence. That means spiritual quotient is more important than intelligence, intellectual quotient. You say, no, IQ. Spiritual quotient is more important than intelligence. Intelligence is more important than our thought processes. And the thought processes are more important than just working senses. That means they have to guide each other. How they will not each other from the upper side. Spiritual quotient guides the intelligence guides the mind guides the senses. If it is other way around, everything will be disturbed. Senses cannot guide the mind. Mind has to guide the senses. That is how from the top the guidance is given, from the below the working is done. Senses work like you have the boss. The boss guides, and the workers then under that guidance it works. That is how from the top the guidance is there, from the below the working is there, or the following of the instructions are there. Sudha, read.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Indriyani pranay ahur indriyebhya param manah mansa tu para buddhir yo buddhi paratastu saha. The working senses are superior to dull matter. Mind is higher than the senses. Intelligence is still higher than the mind. And he, the soul, is even higher than the intelligence. Perfect. The senses are different outlets for the activities of lust. Lust is reserved within the body, but it is given vent through the senses. Therefore, the senses are superior to the body as a whole. These outlets are not in use when there is superior consciousness or Krishna consciousness. In Krishna consciousness, the soul makes direct connection with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, the hierarchy of bodily functions, as described here, ultimately ends in the Supreme Soul. Bodily action means the functions of senses, and stopping the senses means stopping all the bodily actions. But since the mind is active, then even though the body may be silent and at rest, the mind will act as it does during dreaming. But above the mind is the determination of the intelligence, and above the intelligence is the soul proper. If therefore, one minute, Mataji. Bodily action means the function of the senses, and stopping the senses means stopping all the bodily actions. But since the mind is active, then even though the body may be silent and at rest, the mind will act as it does during dreaming. But above the mind is the determination of the intelligence, and above the intelligence is the soul proper. If therefore the soul is directly engaged with the supreme, naturally all other subordinates will, namely the intelligence, mind, and senses, will be automatically engaged. In the Katha Upanishad, there is a similar passage in which it is said that the objects of the sense gratifications are superior to the senses, and mind is superior to the sense objects. If therefore the mind is directly engaged in the service of Lord constantly, then there is no chance that the senses will become engaged in other ways. This mental attitude has already been explained. Param drishtva nivartate. If the mind is engaged in the transcendental service of the Lord, there is no chance of its being engaged in lower propensities. In the Katha Upanishad, the soul has been described as Manaha, the great. Therefore, the soul is above all, namely the sense objects, the senses, the mind, and the intelligence. Therefore, directly understanding the constitutional position of the soul is the solution to the whole problem. With intelligence, one has to seek out the constitutional position of the soul and then engage the mind always in Krishna consciousness. That solves the whole problem. A neophyte spiritualist is generally advised to keep aloof from the objects of the senses. But aside from that, one has to strengthen the mind by use of intelligence. If by intelligence one engages one's mind in Krishna consciousness by complete surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then automatically the mind becomes stronger. And even though the senses are very strong, like serpents, they will become no more effective than serpents with broken fangs. But even though the soul is the master of intelligence and mind, the senses also still, unless it is strengthened by association with Krishna. In the Krishna consciousness, there is every chance of falling down due to the agitated mind. Hare Krishna.
You see how nice solutions Krishna is giving. They say Bhagavad Gita is the answer for everything. Next. एवं बुद्धे परं बुद्ध्वा संस्तभ्यात्मानमात्मनः जहि शत्रुं महाबाहो कामरूपं दुरासदम्. Thus, knowing oneself to be transcendental to material senses, mind, and intelligence, one should steady the mind by intelligence, and thus by spiritual strength conquer this insatiable enemy known as lust. Evam, thus, buddhe, to intelligence, param, superior, buddha, knowing, sansthabhyaha, by studying, atmanam, the mind, atmanam, by deliberate intelligence, jahi, conquer, shatru. Now see, there are two times atmanam, atmanaha has been given. Atmanam here refers to mind. Okay? Now, intelligence has to control the mind. What will control the intelligence then? It is the spiritual quotient, that is deliberate intelligence. Atmanaha. So, Atmanaha here refers to the soul. That means spirituality. It's only by spirituality one can guide the intelligence, because Prabhupada says intelligence is the next door neighbor of the soul. Have you seen any time next door neighbor? When you say neighbor, means it is next door only, na? It's like a South Indian saying, it's next door neighbor. Next door means it is neighbor only. Why you have to emphasize next door neighbor? Yes, emphasized. Why? Because it is very easy to guide the intelligence if one is at the level of his real constitutional position, that I am servant of Krishna. At every level, we are only servant. If I know this, I am servant of Krishna, it is very easy to guide the intelligence. That is a spiritual quotient. And then when the intelligence is purified, yes, very easy to guide the mind. Then very easy to train the senses. But if our spiritual quotient is not high, if I am not spiritually advanced, if I am not spiritually growing, very difficult to use intelligence. Because intelligence cannot discriminate. The strength to discriminate also comes through spirituality only. That is why one has to be spiritually strong. Why Prabhupada emphasizes read, chant, hear. Why? Because by this our spiritual quotient will increase. Suddenly we cannot develop humility. If I am 100% arrogant person, how will I develop humility? Tell me. I can only develop when my spiritual quotient increases. That means that deliberate intelligence, which I am saying, what is a deliberate? Deliberate means what? What is the meaning of deliberate? Tell me what is the meaning of deliberate? Yes, yes. See
Doing
the
it
Google
purposefully.
properly. Huh?
Doing it purposefully.
Doing it purposefully. What is the meaning of purposefully? Having some purpose. What is that purpose? To serve Krishna. That is deliberate intelligence. That is at the level of soul. That is what Krishna is saying. By that conquer this enemy. This lust is at all levels. We have to conquer. What is important? Huh? Paradharma. In that Swadharma also there are two. One is the dharma at the level of body, Artika dharma. And one is Paramarthika dharma. Now, why Urmila is glorified more than even Sita? Urmila is Lakshmana's wife. She is glorified even more than Sita. For Sita, following Ram is both. That is Paramarthika as well as Arthika. But for Urmila, she should go behind Lakshmana. Na? She deliberately did not go. Why? Because even a small percentage of attention should not be diverted of Lakshmana. That is why she did not go. For her, Lakshmana's service to Ram is more important than Arthika Dharma, her following husband. So we should know what is more important, Arthika Dharma, Paramarthika Dharma. For Paramarthika Dharma, I am ready to give up anything and everything. That is known as spiritual quotient. If that level comes, then it is very easy to conquer senses. To reach to that level, yes, one has to take shelter of the spiritual master. And in this way, slowly, slowly, it is not so easy. Speaking is easy, yes, giving class is easy, but not so easy. Hearing is also easy, but it comes at one level. Therefore, Paramarthika Dharma, ready to give up anything and everything, like Srila Prabhupada, going to West at an advanced age of 68 and 69, it's not so easy. Giving up all the comfort zones of the house. It was not so easy. And that on top of that, going to such a country where he doesn't know anyone. Just imagine. Even when we imagine, we cannot even think of attempting. We cannot even think of attempting such a thing. Hardly some money in the hand. On top of that, health is also not good. No one he knows. If he can understand this much also of Srila Prabhupada, we will value the mission, what he has given to us. Very easy to say, oh, I don't want ISKCON. ISKCON is like that. ISKCON is like that. ISKCON is Prabhupada. Simple. That is hippie drugs and all is later. First step itself to climb the ship without having any strength. No one practically. But yes, that faith in Krishna. That faith in Krishna. And on top of the 2 attacks on the ship. If anybody of us would have been there, we would have come back. जाने तो कौन है मिशन रहेगा बाजू में. Huh? 2 attacks are not so easy. So just imagine how much he has given to us. Today, whatever in the comfort zone, we are hearing classes, whatever, we are having books, we are having word-to-word translation also, or evam buddhe param buddhva, what we will understand all these things? Who took all these efforts? Just sleeping for 2 hours, writing books. What age? Where hardly he gets something to eat. So we are blessed by Srila Prabhupada. We are at a very nice comfort zone where just we have to sit and chant. We just have to chant, read, hear. Our life is successful. If this much also we can do. That means he has sacrificed for us, na? So even if we have every day one gratitude for Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual quotient will increase. Simple. Just one gratitude, Prabhupada. यदि आप नहीं होते हम क्या? यदि प्रभुपाद ना होते, the song is there. If you just sing that song every day, Prabhupada, if you would have not been there, I would have not even chanted. I don't know what is spirituality. I was knowing ding dong bell. Everybody knows the ding dong bell. Saturday, go to Shani temple. Friday, go to Mata temple. Thursday, go to Baba temple. Then Sunday, holiday. Don't go to any temple. Wednesday, we will think. Tuesday, yes, go to Ganesha temple. Monday, go to Shivji, disturb him also. Put some water on him, put some bail on him, disturb him. That means we were disturbing all the devatas. And Sunday, they were free. Oh, acha, Vidya. That means we know how to disturb everyone. We know how to disturb everyone. But Srila Prabhupada told, don't disturb anyone, just chant the holy name, and on Sundays, come to the classes. Simple. Disturb your life now. Disturb your life. Come out of the comfort zone. Come to the classes. Sit in the classes and hear. Monday to Friday, go on working. Saturday and Sunday, give your time to Krishna consciousness. That's what you get. Okay. Anupama, read. Actually, Jayashree, 1 minute. Jayashree has unmuted. Wow. First time I'm getting Jayashree unmuted. Jayashree, read. Keep your mobiles on also. Then also see. This person is something crazy. Hey, Jayashree, when I ask you to unmute, that time you don't unmute. Keep your mobiles on. The best thing now, okay, Anupama, you read. I really want to understand what she does.
Hare Krishna
Jayashree,
Mataji.
keep your mobile, keep your videos on. Let me see, where are you? Making flowers for Lord or what you're doing? Keep your mobile. Where she's? Here. Now read. Let Jayashree read. Read.
Book then.
Where is she? In the temple only.
I don't have.
I just see, I don't have book. I know something like this crazy you'll do.
Open Veda base.
Zero mark only I'm going to give you it.
Open Veda base. Text
Anupama,
text number 43.
wait. Nobody is going to open. You unmute your phone now. Anupama, read.
एवं
Read.
बुद्धे परं बुद्ध्वा संस्तभ्यात्मानमात्मना जहि शत्रुं महाबाहो कामरूपं दुरासदम्. Translation. Thus, knowing oneself to be transcendental to the material senses, mind, and intelligence, O mighty armed Arjuna, one should steady the mind by deliberate spiritual intelligence, Krishna consciousness, and thus, by spiritual strength, conquer this insatiable enemy known as lust. Purport. This third chapter of Bhagavad Gita is conclusively directive to Krishna consciousness by knowing oneself as eternal servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, without considering impersonal voidness the ultimate end. In the material existence of life, one is certainly influenced by propensities of lust and desire for dominating the resources of material nature. Desire for overloading and for sense gratification is the greatest enemy of the conditioned soul. But by the strength of Krishna consciousness, one can control the material senses, the mind, and the intelligence. One may not give up work and prescribed duties all of a sudden. But by gradually developing Krishna consciousness, one can be situated in a transcendental position without being influenced by the material senses and the mind, by steady intelligence directed toward one's pure identity. This is the sum total of this chapter. In the immature stage of material existence, philosophical speculations and artificial attempts to control the senses by the so-called practice of yogic postures can never help a man toward spiritual life. He must be trained in Krishna consciousness by higher intelligence. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to the third chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of Karma Yoga, or the discharge of one's prescribed duty in the Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
So we have completed third chapter, Karma Yoga. Now, next chapter will be Jnana Karma Yoga. Perform activity but with knowledge. So that we'll do Monday. Okay? Any doubts? No doubt. Somebody used to ask me like this, any doubt? I used to say, I want to sleep now. I want to eat now. Okay. Hare Krishna.